Welcome to Gentle Restorative. My name is Sandra, and we're starting laying down, right? So grab, it could be your bolster, it could be a pillow off your bed, it could be your blanket, whatever you would like behind your head. Come on down. Do a little wiggling. Start to relax and let go. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Give me a loud exhale. And just kind of settle into your space. So just before we got started, and I was kind of setting up my things, I could hear through the walls a mourning dove outside. She is totally lamenting about perhaps the wind or the chill to the air or something that I could not contrive of, not being a dove. She went on and on and on, and you could just hear this sad sound seeping through the walls. And she kind of goes with my theme in a weird way, which has to do with reminding you that you are the artist to your life's canvas. And so if you have painted your canvas in sad blues and you can resonate with the sound of the mourning dove, perhaps it's time to reconsider that you can paint over a canvas, right? So I want you to just lay there with your eyes closed. And I want you to just picture a big, blank, white canvas in your mind's eye. If you have a hard time visualizing, you know what you could do? You could actually open your eyes and look up at the ceiling and imagine that the ceiling is your canvas as well. And I kind of want you to be creative and paint on your canvas how you are feeling right now. That could be physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And allow this painting to be an expression of what you're feeling. It doesn't have to make sense, right? It doesn't have to be a logical painting. If you're hungry right now, it doesn't have to be a donut you've put on your canvas, but it could be some way that you're expressing that. So I'm going to give you a minute to do that. Every once in a while, I want you to see yourself stepping back to get a bigger picture of what you have put on that canvas. If you're done with your painting, see yourself stepping back. And then overall, does what you put on that canvas match with the way you're feeling? Or did you find that you actually ended up painting something different? So for instance, maybe if I were hungry, instead of painting a picture that makes me go, yeah, that artist is definitely hungry, maybe I ended up painting something that shows I'm completely satiated. So I want you to look at your picture and decide that for yourself. There are zero right or wrong answers here. Do you like your painting? This might be a tough question for somebody who feels they are not artistic in the least, but in your imagination, did it come out really well? Are you stepping back and know you don't like it? And if that's the case, you're going to be super excited for Shavasana because you'll have the opportunity to paint white over that whole thing and start over. All right, give me a deep breath in. Cleansing exhale. Reach the arms up to the ceiling, bring the palms together. And as you find yourself with an exhale, release the hands to the heart in Anjali Mudra so that you can pause here and set your intention for your practice. And when you're ready, you're going to release your hands. Let's bring the feet to the earth. Hug the knees into the heart. Give me a couple of good breaths. And when you feel like it, will you lift the head and shoulders up as well? Maybe you can grab onto the feet, get into the tightest ball that you can. And then I'm slowly going to release the head and shoulders back down. You can just soften the arms. Take the left arm straight out from your shoulder, and we're just going to drop the knees down to the left. So as always, if you feel like you need a prop underneath the legs to catch them, grab something. We're just going to close our eyes right here and relax, let go. And then take your focus to the right shoulder, and maybe you can energetically pull that shoulder down just a little bit more towards the earth. When you're ready, go ahead and pull the knees back to center. I'm going to take my right hand and hang on to that right knee so I can pull it in for the moment. I'm going to take that left leg, straighten it up to the ceiling. Breathe here. Let's flex that top foot and point through the right. Unless that's too many things to think of at once, then just flex both feet. Okay, right hand is coming to the inside of the right knee. And so I'm going to start opening that knee out to the right. Left hand is coming to the inner left thigh. And let's go ahead and let the hands help push the legs further apart. So one knee's bent, one leg is straight. You're just using the hands to accentuate the stretch a little bit. You're helping gravity out. And then when you find a good place to hold, push, keep breathing, keep breathing. And slowly bring the knees back into the heart. Curl up into that little ball. When you get to an exhale, release the head and shoulders. If you wanted a prop underneath the knees on the left side, move it to the right. And then let's go ahead and take that right arm straight out from the shoulder. Drop the knees to the right. And then let's take the focus to the left shoulder and see if we can help release it down to the earth anymore. And bringing the knees back to center. Left hand on top of the left knee, stretch the right leg up, or flexing the top foot, pointing the left ankle, or deciding that's too much to think about and we're flexing both feet. And then the left hand comes inside the left knee. We'll start to open that knee out. Right hand to the inner right thigh and gently open out the legs. Lucky me, I get to rest on the biggest prop of all, the wall, and then just kind of push into those muscles, opening out the legs a little more. When you have a good stretch, hold it right there. Keep breathing. Give me one more inhale. Exhale, slowly hug the knees back in, get into that tight little ball. And again, release the head and shoulders, release the feet back down, and you can go ahead and roll to whichever side you want in a fetal position. If you've suddenly just erased your canvas and put a pillow and a blanket, I'm catching you right there. Do not fall asleep on me. We're coming back up. Not time for Shavasana yet. So come join me in a seated position, whichever one you like best. We're going to inhale, both arms up. That right hand's catching the left wrist and drawing you to the right. Let's turn the gaze to look either toward the left arm or beyond it to the ceiling. Inhale, center. Exhale, the arms down. Inhale, both arms up. Left hand's grabbing the right wrist, pulling you to the left as you take your gaze beyond the right arm. Inhale, center. Exhale, release the arms. So we're going to take the shoulders up and back a couple of times. It'll help loosen us up as we head into a twist. Perfect. Okay, both legs are draping over to the left. So yes, I am tipped into my right hip. That's okay. Let you get there. You're going to take your left hand and I'm going to bring it to the outside of the right thigh, palm facing my thigh, but then I'm going to slip that hand underneath. So I'll turn this way. So I'm just slipping that hand right underneath my leg. Right hand's reaching back. Inhale, find your length. Exhale, go ahead and start taking that twist to the right. So you can use that hand on the thigh as leverage to push off of, right? Fingertips are also helping you. Go a little deeper, keep breathing. Now take that right hand. If you're on your fingertips like I am, plant the hand so that we can bend into that arm a little bit. Free the left hand. Let's send it up to the ceiling and then overhead, and we can kind of play here. You can move up and down or find a different movement that makes you happy. Perfect. And then go ahead and come back to center. So I'm going to free my legs and have them both out in front of me. Bring your hands behind you for the moment so you have some support. The left ankle is coming up on top of that right thigh. So our seated pigeon. You might need to back up a little to get the leg there, right? Doesn't matter. And then kind of find where you're comfortable, where you can feel the stretch. You can stay supported in the arms. Keep that left foot flexed. Left knee's pushing away from you, and then close your eyes right here. So I want you to imagine you've got another blank canvas, because I don't want you to erase the first one if you really liked it. So we have another canvas. And let's imagine for our sequence today that we've dipped one foot in one color paint, the other foot's in the second color, each hand is in a third and fourth color. And so every time we move in transition, you can see that on your canvas, right? So in other words, if I took my right arm and brought it up, I might see a streak of color moving up my canvas. So we're going to paint something really beautiful on our canvas, or you could say on our mat. All right. But just go ahead and stay in this pose, but open your eyes. Gently tip the head back. You might massage it out just a little bit. And then let's slowly bring the chin down to the collarbone. We're going to make this pose a little more interesting. So if you have scrunched up as tightly as you can, so you feel the stretch, you're probably going to need to unscrunch just a little bit here. I need you to feel like you're supported in the right hand and in the sit bones, that you could free the left hand from the earth, which is what we are in fact going to do. So if you don't feel like you can lift the left arm up, widen out even more. Does that make sense? All right, let's get that left arm in front of us, elbow bent at 90 degrees. Left elbow is coming over to the inside or the bottom of that left foot. Perfect. Now sit up tall. Option A, this might be enough. This might be as crazy as your body wants to get this morning. Option B, just go ahead and start pulling that right shoulder back, push the elbow into the foot. We can add a twist right here. Ooh, we can get kind of crazy if you want to. Pick a mudra for your left hand. So we've been working on Gyan Mudra a lot, so that one probably is at the top and forefront of your mind. Remember, it's the index finger and the thumb together. Thumb is straight, and so are the other three fingers. I'm just going to say, if you don't like this pose, I don't want to know what mudra you're making up and directing towards me. So you don't have to be in this twist if this pose is uncomfortable. All right, give me a strong breath in. Exhale. Release that. Free the legs. Stretch them out in front of you. Just shake them out for a moment. Perfect. All right. Legs drape to the right. When you're balanced, comfortable, take that left hand behind you. Right hand is coming across and taking a little dive underneath that left thigh. Sit up nice and tall with your breath. Exhale, take your twist, start pulling back that left shoulder. See if you can look over it. Hold the pose, keep breathing. Stay right there. I need to turn. I'm running out of room. Okay, on your exhale, release the twist, but keep the pose. Plant into that back hand, free the right hand, and then remember, we just kind of played here for a moment. So whatever feels good to you, but picture those colors that you're moving around on your canvas. When you're ready, make your way back to center. Plant the feet, hands behind you. Right foot is coming across for seated pigeon. I had to think about that for a second. Flex the right foot, push the knee away, and get as tight as you want to in this pose so that you feel the fabulous pigeon stretch. Close your eyes. I can very faintly hear that dove outside still. And I'm wondering if she's sad that we haven't filled our bird feeder. But here's the thing. She can find another bird feeder. And that's kind of what the theme is about. It's about changing your perspective, taking ownership of your canvas, right? Okay, open your eyes. Gently tip the head back. Massage out the neck if you want to. Slowly bring the chin down to the collarbone. And then create a little bit more space for yourself here so that we are completely balanced to try the twist out on this side, right? So once I'm balanced, I'm going to get the right arm into a scarecrow position, get the elbow to hook on the sole of the right foot. I'm going to find my length and push off into my twist. Deepen the breath. Wherever you're at, you should be happy because you don't have to go into any pose you don't want to, right? Perfect. Big inhale. Exhale, release the twist. Stretch the legs back out. And just walk out the legs for a moment here. You do that while I slide back away from the wall. All right, and then straight legs, flex the feet, send the arms all the way up. We're holding it right here. So I want you to lengthen out of the waist. And now start to hinge forward. Drop the arms first so they're supporting you. Bend the knees if the hamstrings feel tight and just kind of worm your way down. And then to get out of this pose, let's just walk the hands right up the legs, of course, skipping over the knees. And let's grab some props. So ideally, if you have 2 blocks, let's take them out in front of us. I have them at medium height with a space between. Bolsters going up on top. So if you don't have blocks, but you have a bolster, you could grab pretty much anything to prop this up a little bit on either side. If you don't have any yoga props, grab just a pillow or a blanket and put it down at the top of your mat. All right, go ahead and lay down. We're going to put the calves up on top of the bolster. Tuck the shoulder blades down and under. Soften the arms. Close your eyes. Give me a deep, deep inhale. Hold it. And let me hear it. Let it go. All right. While you stay right there, I'm going to share my first story with you. So this is a story told by Osho in his series, The Secret. And it's about 2 disciples of a master who are given permission to go walking out in the garden morning, afternoon, and evening. And what do you mean they've been given permission? Well, they're supposed to be meditating. But we know that meditating does not mean we have to stoically sit in one place, right? We could be engaging in a walking meditation. And so that's what they're doing. They've been given permission to go out and walk and stretch their legs, and then come back in and try the seated technique. So here's the thing. These 2 masters are out walking and they're both smokers. And they want to ask the master for permission to smoke outside, not in the house, but out in the garden while they're walking. And so one of them says, well, okay, I'll ask tomorrow. I mean, He's probably going to say no, but I think we both should ask. And it really doesn't seem like it's a sacrilegious question because we are outside. We're not asking to be in the house. And so they decide that the next day they're each on their own going to ask the master if that's okay. So the next day they meet out in the garden, and one of them is furious. He's furious because the other one is smoking. And so he says, what happened? I asked the master and I simply was refused. He told me no. And so now I come out here and you're smoking. Are you defying his orders? And so the other one says, well, he said yes to me. And so this seemed very unjust, not right, unfair. And so the first one says, well, I'm going to go immediately and find him. I want to find out why he said no to me and yes to you. Well, the second master says, just hold on a second here. Can you tell me what you asked? And so the first one says, well, what I asked, it was a very simple thing. I asked if it was okay if I said, can I smoke while I'm meditating? And he said no, and he looked angry. Well, the other master started laughing. And he said, now I know what the problem is. That's not what I asked. I asked if I could meditate while I was smoking. And so think about that for a second. Can I smoke while I'm meditating? Can I meditate while I'm smoking? All we did was kind of shuffle the words around, right? But completely different meaning. And the moral is to show you that just a little difference in your canvas that you're painting, maybe a slightly different hue or a slightly different perspective can be all that is required to make a big change. I mean, think about all the different ways one could meditate. It's like saying, can I wash the dishes while I'm meditating? Can I meditate while I'm washing the dishes? Right? You can meditate while you're doing just about anything. If your mind is focusing on what it is you're doing, but you can't meditate while you're doing something else. Think about that one for a second. And so that's why I said that perhaps the mourning dove should stop lamenting that we've been too lazy to fill the bird feeder when the bird simply probably just needs to turn its head and look into the neighbor's yard, right? So just a little change. So now what the heck's going on in your world where you didn't realize you were perhaps painting with the wrong brush? Maybe the brush you're using is too little and you needed a wider stroke. Come on, think of something. How can we make that little change? Such a little change. Get excited about that. Now take your focus to your breath. Let's empty the lungs completely. Really pull the belly button in. Slow, deep inhale. Cleansing exhale. And draw the knees right back into your heart, lifting the head and shoulders again into that tight little ball. And then when you're ready, just roll off to a side and slowly push your way up. So how do we ask this question on the yoga mat? Well, could I do a vinyasa while I'm meditating? Can I meditate while I'm doing a vinyasa? It is a totally different question, right? Okay, move your props aside. Let's come on up into table, hands and knees. When you're ready, inhale cow. Exhale cat. Inhale cow, nice slow movement. Exhale cat. Let's do one more. And then come back to a neutral spine. So we're going to take the left foot and bring it forward so that the ankle is underneath the knee. If this seems a challenge to stay connected then with the hands to the floor, don't worry about it because we're not staying here. So get the hands up on top of that front thigh and make your way up. Half warrior A. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale to the heart. I'm going to take my left arm, bring it around behind me. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale as a side bend to the left, so maintain your balance. Good job. Inhale, center. Exhale, right fingers are just going to graze the earth inside of that left foot. Inhale, arm comes right back up. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right hand towards the earth. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, side bend to the left. Inhale, center, hold it right here. Free the left arm, send it up as well. Bring the palms together, release them to the heart. And then hands to the earth. So I'm going to take that left foot, scooch it forward just a little bit more so I can drop the hips and then pull them straight back. So make sure, we're kind of just testing out the waters here. Make sure that you've got the right spacing between the knee and that front foot for this to be comfortable for you. You can always use your blocks for the hands to make this much better, happier, right? Okay, so just play around here for a moment. Okay, when the hips are pulled back, let's hold it right here. You decide if the front foot stays flat or if you want to come onto the heel of that foot, and then let's find our fold right here. Remember, the farther forward that you have your hands in this pose, the more challenging the fold is going to be. So kind of have that in mind as you're gauging where it might be good for you. And then I'm going to lift up out of my fold. I'm going to shift my hips forward down into my low lunge. And then from here, pull the hips back just a little bit. Remember, we took this foot forward. I want to bring it back again so that the knee is over the ankle. And if I came up, I'd still be in half warrior A. So right here is option A. And of course, don't forget that when we do something kind of challenging, there's always a restorative pose next. So we just have the other side to get through. Option A is right here. If you're happy here, I highly suggest you stay here. It's your canvas. Option B. So I'm going to kind of lift up to free my right hand, send the arm behind me, and see if that foot and my hand can find each other. They might not. It's all right. A couple of breaths wherever you're at. And then slowly let go if you have that foot. Draw the left leg in, take it to child's pose for a few moments. And then let's slowly, I know this feels good, but let's finish the other side and then we'll get into a very happy restorative pose, I promise. So coming back to table, let's do 3 cat-cows when you're ready. And then neutral spine, that right foot's gonna step forward, ankle right underneath the knee. When you have your balance, get your hands to that front thigh, come on up, half warrior A. Inhale the arms, exhale to the heart. Stay right there, I'm gonna have to turn around. Perfect. All right, right arm's coming around behind the low back. Reach that left arm up. Inhale here. Exhale, side bend to the right. Come back to center. And then we're gonna release that hand down to graze the earth. Inhale up. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left fingers to the earth. You got it, keep going. All right, last one, inhale. When that arm is facing up toward the ceiling, just hold it right here. And then take that right arm, reach it up as well. Bring the hands together and exhale to the heart. We're gonna set the hands back down on the earth. And then if you recall, we took that front foot, sent it forward just a little more so we had some room to drop into a low lunge and rock this out a little bit. If you want your blocks, go ahead and grab them. When you feel ready, we're pulling the hips straight back. Again, decide how you want that right foot to be and just kind of play gracefully into your fold. Remember, each movement you make, you're swishing pretty colors on your canvas, so don't be shy. And when you're ready, we'll set that foot down, move the hips forward. And then take the hips slightly back so that you can draw that right foot back in just a little closer, ankle right underneath the knee. That makes it easier to get that foot that's behind us, right? So this is option A. Option B is going to be to free the left hand, reach back and see, whoop, where's that foot? There he is. I just labeled my feet with the gender. Pull that foot in, open up that top shoulder and breathe. Should be a good quad stretch. Inhale, exhale, let go. Bring that right knee back to the earth and then just sit back for a second because I promised a good restorative pose. So let's grab our bolster, bring it out in front of you, prop one end. We're gonna find a most fabulous Salamba Balasana, supported child's pose. I'm gonna take my blanket over my low back, but if your knees would be happier, sit up, take that blanket underneath your sit bones, and then come on down. If you get here and you don't like how high the bolster is, drop that block down. Make this pose what you need it to be. Give you a minute to get comfy. All right, so while you're settling in, your eyes have closed, I have a second story for you. So often when I mention a Sufi poet, we're talking about Rumi, but there's a 13th century Sufi poet, Nasruddin, who is famous for philosophical storytelling, and often he uses himself in the story as either the conveyor of the message or as the butt of the joke. And so as this story goes, a fellow kinsman came from the country to visit Nasruddin and brought him a duck. And so Nasruddin was extremely grateful, and he had the bird cooked and decided to share it with the guest who brought it. As time goes by, another visitor knocks on his door and says, "I am a friend of the gentleman who gave you the duck." And so Nasruddin invites him in and feeds him as well. This happened several times. Nasruddin felt like his house was starting to become kind of a restaurant for these out-of-town friends of a friend of a friend. And it felt like everybody was a friend once removed from somebody else who'd already been there. So finally, Nasruddin was just completely exasperated with all these people showing up. And so one day there was a knock at the door and a stranger appeared. And he said, "I'm a friend of the friend of the friend who brought you the duck." So Nasruddin said, "Come on in." And he had them both seated at the kitchen table. And Nasruddin asked his wife to bring in some soup. And so the guest took a sip of the soup and it tasted like warm water. And so he asked, "What kind of soup is this?" And Nasruddin said, "That is the soup of the soup of the soup of the duck." And so what I liked about that story was it's a reminder to not let other people water down your canvas for you. If you want to blur out some of the lines and dip your paintbrush into the water and change the landscape of your picture, you do that. But you don't have to allow everybody else access to your paintbrush. Go ahead, turn your head to the other side. How is your canvas looking? The canvas that represents your movements through the poses and the transitions. The one that represents your practice on your mat today. And so one thing you might notice about your painting is, especially because we're in a restorative class, we're staying low to the earth, maybe there isn't much color on the top half of your canvas. Do you want there to be? And so in a moment, when we come out of our restorative pose, I'm going to give you the option to add some bigger movements on your mat if you would like. If you feel like, the left shoulder needs to be stretched out, but the right one doesn't want to, then you'll have that opportunity to stretch out your shoulder. If you feel like, oh gosh, I'm really missing a down dog this morning, then you can find that on your mat. Totally up to you. So let's take a deep breath in. As you exhale, slowly push your way up out of child's pose. You're going to set your props off to the side. And I'm going to time you. You have 1 minute to do whatever you want to on your mat to fill your canvas the way that you need it to be right now. So start playing. 1 minute. I have a timer in front of me. All right, wind it down. When you're ready, come back and join me on all fours in table pose. Inhale and let go of the breath. Modified plank. Find your inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Reach the arms forward, but then off to the edges. Now, not completely straight. We're playing here in cobra, so I need room for you to be able to bend into the arms. The next time that you're exhaling down out of cobra, take it right into gecko. You can do whichever side you want to first. And with as little movement as possible, go ahead and switch gecko to the other side. And then go ahead and slowly stretch out that right leg. Plant the hands, push back into Balasana. We're going to walk the hands to the left. Twisted child's pose. And if you want to, you could leave the right arm where it has ended up and take the left arm and bring it around behind you, maybe even open it up to the ceiling if you feel like you want to add in a little bit of a heart opener, a shoulder opener, a little twist. It's up to you. And then we'll slowly go back through center. Take this to the other side. Same thing here. Leave the left arm where it ended up. You can stay here, but if you feel like you want to open up a little bit more, then bring the right arm behind you, above you, wherever you need it to be. And then we're slowly coming back to center. Forehead to the earth or on a block. Glue the fingertips down, lift the wrists up high. Get a good stretch through the arms. And then we're just walking the hands in. Ah, perfect. Have the things nearby that you want for Shavasana. Pull them all over right next to you. And then first, before you utilize them, come on down to your back, hug in the knees. We're going to get in that little ball again. And then slowly release the upper body, set the feet down, stretch that right leg up to the ceiling, and interlace the hands behind the thigh. You decide if you want to straighten out that left leg or not. And then let's just find a good stretch here. And we'll slowly switch legs. And then bring that leg down. Now you can grab your props. Set up Shavasana however you would like it to be. I'm going to pause and wait for you to do that. And when you're comfortable and your eyes are closed, I want you to picture an easel standing before you and your first painting on it, the one that I asked you to paint that kind of portrayed how you were feeling. And I want you just to stand back and take a look at that. So the question is, are you in love with it? Did you do the job you meant to? Or is there something about it you'd like to change? And as you head off into Shavasana, you can make whatever changes to your canvas you want, right? Remember, we can't do Shavasana while we're meditating, but we can meditate while we're in Shavasana. And this is your time to meditate upon that canvas. I will come back and get you at the other end of Shavasana. It's time to put down your paintbrush, to stand back, and to admire your work. Remembering it only takes a very little change to alter the picture. Let's take our focus to our breath and allow that breath to deepen, waking up the body, the cells, the mind. And when you feel ready, go ahead and bring some movement back into the body. And then gently tip over into a fetal position when you're ready. As you push your way up, allow your breath to deepen just a little bit more. Until we find ourselves seated here, let's take a deep inhale through the nose. Big exhale. Inhale, both arms up. Bring the palms together and exhale them back home to your heart in prayer pose. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me, and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.